Okay, now I'm telling you.
I like that. There's no dubs. There's no dub.
Ra.
We've started by the way.
RABWON.
Hello everyone, welcome back to What the Theory with Joel and the first lady of What the Theory.
Hi, how are ya?
She's formerly known as Lisa, but she's telling me, no, formerly known. I'm not dead naming you.
Okay.
We're going to put up your dead name. Your
dead name is an actual word.
Yeah,
okay.
It's for like trans people when they,
Mukwano.
transitioned and then you're calling them the old name.
All right.
So haven't you transitioned?
Yes, I've transitioned to Kanyomozi.
To being more of a Mutoro.
Yeah, more of a Mutoro.
Hey, you're Mutoro.
I am.
You have 4 grandparents that are Batoro.
No, but technically they migrated into Toro, so they were Toro by migration.
That's like saying Elon Musk is African.
No, but they moved when my kaka was very young, so she's from Toro.
From where? No, what's it? It's okay. Mbara. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Hi, it's been 2 years. Can you imagine? So
yeah, and I've aged quite a bit. I think if we put the Alan's also nodding.
You look nice, friend. No, but remember that time? Hey, Yambi.
I was handsome back then. Anyway, how have you been?
I've been growing. I think that's what I could say, like actual growing. Mentally more than physically. I'm still like young. Yeah. But I've been good.
I'm also fine.
How have you been? I was coming, okay? How have you been? No.
You know what? This is the blooper reel because I can't take it seriously. Anyway, no, I've been fine. I think it's been a very long year. The show has evolved.
I know,
it used to be called Sunday Reads
now. And yeah.
It became What the Theory. Then there's PPJ. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the amount of coverage we're getting, the number of people we're speaking to. And since you're the first lady, I decided, with it being Christmas,
reflection time.
Are we allowed to say Christmas? We're supposed to say the holidays.
Why?
Because some people don't celebrate Christmas.
Sorry. But what is the holiday for?
No, there are multiple days. It's winter solstice. It is Kwanzaa. It is what is the other one? I forgot. There's another one.
But it's Christmas season. That's literally what the holiday is for. So why wouldn't you be allowed to
No, that's the mainstream thing. But before Christmas came up.
Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving has passed now, see?
Yeah, that one, no. But we didn't kill any Native Americans. So I feel like it's not really for us.
But I celebrated Thanksgiving. It was fun.
Oh, what did you do?
So I did it with my family first. We did like fellowship and then we had lunch and gratefulness for the year. Then I did it with my friends where we gave each other gifts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Did they give thanks for the first gentleman of What the Theory? Or you don't? Do your parents know about me?
My mom does.
Yeah? Okay. Let's move quickly. So, Madam Rabwoni,
Yeah. Yeah.
Rabwoni. What have you been up to?
From 2022, I was employed at the time at an NGO. That changed. And then I joined a content production thingamajig that was supposed to be the first in Uganda. Which was
content
interesting.
Production thingamajig?
Yeah, like a content production house. It was content production business.
Okay.
And I learned a lot about content because at the time I was moving from radio and TV and being in the front end, and then I really wanted to be at the back end. I didn't want to touch the camera or like edit, but just be like a director and walk around and set, and this looks nice on you, and then change this up, which was fun.
Okay.
Then I broke my leg, and in the process of breaking my leg, I just asked myself very serious questions. And part of those questions were the brain babies that I had given birth to. Do I want to continuously give them the extra time, or do I want to give them all my time? So I started working at 16, and in 2 years, maybe 10 years. And at the 10-year mark, what do I want? Do I want a formal career? I have a kink for achievement. And like,
you have a what? A kink?
For achievement. Like I need to be the best in something. And since for the past couple of years, like I was shaky about my career ladder. Like, do I want to be a CEO, like, you know, that Mr. or like, no. So, but I really, really wanted Omanide, I wanted Amaka, I wanted Yambi to be somewhere in the next 2 years. So I am giving myself 2 years to take this bet. And in the 2 years, if they are not where I want them to be, I have to take that choice back into corporate. So when I support my things, guys.
Ugandan owned, Ugandan managed.
Yeah, Ugandan built.
Okay.
Those things. Yeah, and then I joined a fellowship. I was part of Huduma, which is under the Leo Africa Institute. I am the valedictorian. And
What does that word mean?
Like the best in class.
Okay.
And then I joined school as well. So I'm doing my postgrad in public policy analysis and governance. Yeah. So it's been a good 2 years.
You've done a lot.
Yeah.
So you're running how many businesses?
4.
4 businesses. Let's go through them again.
So Obanire, of course.
What does
that's
Obanire
an
do?
Afrocentric store. So when I came 2 years ago, we're just doing accessories. But yeah.
Alan, I don't know, I'm holding this. Are you going to zoom in or you're just going to say, I don't know why he's putting his hands there? Do you have a mic? Okay. All right.
So an Afrocentric fashion store. We were doing accessories only by the time I came 2 years ago. But now we are fully evolved into a fashion brand. So we're doing clothing as well for both women and men. So yeah, that's fun. Then Amaka, and that's an interior decor business. I do this with my mom. I just realized we needed a member for operations, and then my mom, who's like the creative brain. And so I really, really enjoy that. I enjoy anything to do with design. It gives me joy. Then what replaced my 9 to 5 was communications and branding for organizations and businesses. Under KWK. So KWK was formerly my podcast, Conversations with Kanyomozi. But I wasn't understanding what I was doing it for. So I rebranded it into a communications agency. Yeah, and I'm having fun doing that. And then Yambi grew from being a couple of people raising funds to support 3 different causes to a full-blown organization where we are doing work towards ending period poverty in Uganda, creating sustainable solutions for communities. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
So I was particularly interested about talking about Yambi.
Okay.
So what does it mean?
Yambi.
Yeah.
Yambi is from the rhetorical word of Yambi, which means to give help. And so this started in 2021. So I used to be loud on Twitter, now X.
It's true.
And in April, I used to share a lot on sexual violence, consent, and all of that. And one April, I just felt like I'm repeating the conversations that I've been saying for time, or other feminists had been saying. So I worked with an organization called Rabwoni Initiative to provide therapy sessions for a couple of persons who had experienced sexual violence so they can start their healing journey. So I think we were supposed to provide 2 to 5 sessions. We set a target, and the target was 1 million, and we raised 2.7 million. So that was really, really great. What that showed to me, is that a correct English? What that displayed?
We've understood.
What I learned.
We have a Torah.
Was that people want to help. They just assume that help is expensive. Like you have to give large amounts of money. But I kept telling people while we were crowdfunding, like even if you have 2,000, even if you have 500 shillings, you bring it. Like we can actually use what you have. So from there, I called 2 friends of mine who are excellent, Blessed Magezi and Sanyu Jonita, and I asked them to be part of doing this thing with me. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but like I trust you guys to execute. So let's go. And we had 3 courses that we started with, which was cancer, sexual therapy for sexual violence survivors, and menstrual health. As we did the work, a year and a half in, we realized because there's no grants at the time, we're all relatively hustlers and we're not trust fund babies who have the money. We're not able to create impact with just what we're collecting in terms of targets. So we, after a conversation with Abbas, who, you know Abbas? You know Abbas?
But I don't know.
Okay, guys, Abbas Mfindi, really great guy. MCI is his. So we had a conversation, and I was just throwing my head at him, and he says, you know what, focus on one thing. And when I had to choose between cancer, therapy, and menstrual health, I figured menstrual health was the most ignored. Cancer has work done, not enough, but there's still a good amount of work done towards cancer. Mental health, there's still a good amount of work that's being done and continues to be done. Not that it's ever enough, but what I felt is menstrual health, I didn't see as many organizations doing the work. Yet you don't choose to menstruate. It just sort of happens. And we've done a lot of capacity building work in this year since we made the decision. And it's worrying that our country is not as focused on what's going on, because it's actually a problem. Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned a phrase, period poverty. And after I read up a bit and tried to see how I can get more people to donate, I tried to read and say, well, what was my experience with this as a man? First, as a kid, there's that time in school when they'd be like, hey, boys, go and play. And then girls stay here. So there was always this, we're not supposed to know about it. It's supposed to be pushed to the side. I feel that social climate has changed a little bit, not completely, that people can speak more about it, but still there's this, it's like a personal thing, and yet you're speaking about the fact that we are not paying attention to the fact that people's lives are being affected. So some of the stats I read are about between 20 and 30% of girls in school, because of not having access to proper pads or even proper hygiene facilities, are missing the equivalent of 3 months of school. It's higher in rural areas. And then there's also
but rural is even Kampala.
Yeah, so now when I was looking at it, I was like, what's rural? And then they're like, yeah, but it's also peri-urban. It's like just a few kilometers outside of the main cities. And we barely hear about it. So, like, you made the choice. Did you make the choice because you thought this is something that you could make an impact in, and then found that there's absolutely, well, not nothing, because I'm sure there are people who are doing something, but what surprised you most about getting into this field?
The access to, we knew that people didn't have pads, but the access to information and the access to hygiene. So you would go to schools, and we're talking about myths with the girls, and someone would tell a girl, as opposed to letting her know, dispose of your pad in this way. Let's say if a dog saw your pad, you would not be able to give birth. You'd not be able to, get pregnant. If a dog saw your pad. Or a friend of ours who partnered with the organization and took a couple of pads, went to a school in Kabale, and they had told the girls that if they contracted HIV or AIDS, the minute that they bled, that cycle, it would wash out of their system. Yeah. And we all, sorry, what? So the lack of education, but then also a couple of friends, I'm gonna butcher it. They have an event every March at the Uganda Museum. The twins, her history, I think. They're going to kill me because we actually. No, we shall get the information. But they were doing the pads drive as well for their church and their village, and they were asking questions to a couple of men. How many pads do girls use? And they're like 2. 2 pads, like 2 pieces in the period, like 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, and then they consistently use them during the day. Or how many pad packs, or how many days do periods take, how long is a cycle. And we realized that the men that are existing with us in the same spaces, who had the same access to education, also do not have they don't have the education. And then that answers the question of how come no one is legislating towards providing, say, subsidized costs of pads. Because if a house in a marginalized community has 4 daughters, and each daughter needs 2 packs of pads, a pack of pad going for 3,000, that's 6 times 4. Is that math one in our
24.
24. That's 24,000, and it's a home that doesn't have 24,000. Because now when women live in the same area, we have our period at the same time.
Oh, that's synchronized.
Our bodies just synchronize, right? So things like that. But then also we realize that there's girls, you take the pads to the schools, but the schools don't have bathrooms. So they don't have bathrooms. Where are they changing their pads? Right? Or the schools do not have painkillers. So me that has access to painkillers, there's still days I'm just like, I'm not going anywhere because I'm seated on the floor. I can't leave the floor because of the excruciating pain that I'm going through. So now imagine someone is expected to sit in exams, can't afford a pad, but now also can't afford a painkiller. So we realize that the problem is not just give them pads, it's give them pads, educate them on diets. We're working with Suki Wellness, which is a hormone expert organization. And we're just trying to see because I went on a green diet for like 21 days. And that was the best period I had because there was just less pain. So we're trying to see what can we say in regards to food that they have access to. Can they change their diet towards their periods so that their pads are less painful? But there's so many things intertwined.
I have a question there.
Yeah.
And this may go very far. But one, you've talked about the diet, but we speak a lot about how Ugandan food is like really abundant and relatively cheap. But I'm wondering about the nutritional value. So when you say you went green, how is that different from like say maybe the carbohydrate heavy diet that we typically have in schools?
Okay, now you know me as me.
Posho and all those things. So I'm just wondering, what did you learn about the kind of diet you need to have? Because one, you've talked about, it's a structural thing. There are facilities that you need to be able to even use the pads properly, to even be able to say, I'm going to school and I don't want to have this feeling of if something happens, if I'm not feeling well, I have to now remove myself and leave, and can be quite an embarrassing thing. So it's not just enough for you to have the supplies, you need to be able to have a place for that you can be able to utilize them. There has to be like maybe an understanding amongst both boys and girls that this is a normal part of it, it's not something to laugh about. But then it also goes to the diet that we have. So I was just curious, I don't know if you have a lot of info on the diet,
but with my diet I was just doing more green, so more beans. I don't eat beans, that's a lie. More peanuts, more peas. I love dodo so much. So that's what I was, pumpkin, that's what I was eating more of during that time. I don't eat posho, so I can't say for sure. But just more vegetables in the diet would definitely play a better role in your during your menstrual cycle. So things, with that I think would be the most shocking. The education and access to education, but then everything else that supports the period. Because you could have it, but you're still not able to come to school.
So you said you're doing public policy.
Yes.
And you've also talked about legislation is not really paying a lot of attention to it. In part, is it because I'm not speaking from a place that I'm well educated in the dynamics, but one of the things I've noticed is I'm reading Sylvia Tamale's book on when hens begin to crow. And she was speaking about there are symbolic victories that we win in gender, where you're like, oh, there are now women MPs. Oh, now there are women who are in the legal profession. And she's saying they use that as almost tokens to say, because one person can make it, it now means everyone is fine. Instead of talking about like, what are the structural things that make it such that it's remarkable for you to see someone there. So I'm thinking from a public policy perspective, this is your exam question. If you could design something, what would you design?
In terms of...
Like, let's say someone watches this and says, you know what, help us design something which is going to be about communicating around what you need to have, standards that parents should be looking for when they go to schools, what we, people who may have, a little bit more disposable income should be doing, not only to donate, which, guys, you should please donate. The link is here, especially in this season of giving, but beyond donation, because I think charity has a place for us as people, but it's not a solution. It's at the beneficence of the people who have to then give. And I think it's a little, not dehumanizing, but it is a little problematic if, I don't feel like giving, or let me feel in my heart that I need to give. I think we should be creating a structural sort of framework that allows for me not to, if I don't feel like helping you out, you're not going to struggle. So I'm coming back to, you have a chance to write a policy paper or to write something that the government is going to enforce. What are the 3 things that you would probably put in that policy?
We are crazy. Top of the list. Top of the list has to be comprehensive education. I think where the problem is, even with like the tokenism of like women MPs and what, is that people don't have an actual understanding of how big the problem is, and because they don't have an understanding how big the problem is, it is sidelined. It's okay, those are women's things, but if we had a better understanding, even with so with our sessions we have workshops, and with our workshops we invite the boys from P5 to P7 to join the workshops.
Oh, okay.
So we want to kill the whole idea of it's just the girls that we're teaching. And you see the boys are really interested. They're like, can I touch a pad? Like, can I see? And you ask the boys to come to the front, and the teachers are shaking. They're like, this girl.
Do they do that move of like you put it in water and then they're like, whoa? That's what I did. That's how I learned.
No, we take them.
That one, and with the tampon, I was like, Banang.
He was amazed. Like, wow.
I was like, oh my gosh.
But yes, so if we had more people understanding the graveness of what period poverty is in our society, then we would have better people legislating and making better decisions. 1, 2, cost subsidization or availability, especially to schools that we are calling UPE, USE, that have a large majority of children who are coming from homes that these are more luxuries than they are things that are provided to them as a necessity. So provision. If we can, there's always a debate of if you can provide condoms, why don't you provide pads? And we know why you provided the condoms, but also there should be emphasis on also providing the pads. There's so many companies in Uganda that are making these reusable pads. There's so many social enterprises. So let the government partner with these people and offer a solution. And then
also corporations like ours, you should squeeze us, be like, what
that's
are you doing in this?
I'm here for what?
Do
you know what we're here for? So yes, so I think those would be top 2. And then facilities, I think there's, so ideally when we started Yambi and we started thinking of how we're going to fund and facilitate the work that we're going to do, there are a lot of CSR budgets that are not CSRing. Because you would, like, what did you guys do this year?
We focused on childhood cancer.
Okay.
So we wanted to raise money for early childhood screening. But at the same time, the deeper we went into seeing how much you can do. This is why I think charity is a tough thing, because the more you look, the more you find.
The bigger the problem is.
It's like, I was talking to a friend of mine about what's happening in Congo and in Gaza and even in Chitezi. Like at a certain point, I think people start to look away.
Yeah.
Because
it's
you
too
start
much.
to feel like, what can
I do?
Which is why I'm saying that I think it's a little, it's not the pathway to make everyone feel super guilty, because how much are they reasonably going to do? But if we were to find some, like what you're doing, we should probably be backing that because you're in it, you're actually making moves, you're creating structures, so why don't we lend our support towards you? But yeah, that's our CSR, and we could really be doing more. Yes. I'm 2020. Of course.
Thanks. Anyway, guys, so the final part. I think CSR budgets, I don't know if the government can enter into private businesses, but I think large corporations can be twisted towards that direction.
So there are tax incentives you can give. There are ways you can incentivize corporations to do it.
So those three would be the 3 areas.
All right. So it's the Christmas period, and I have, you didn't get the pan, Christmas period. Now,
I'm so nagged.
I know, even me, I don't like myself.
Nagged up.
However, just to learn the point. What would you consider a successful donation drive? How much would you want to raise?
10 million.
10 million Uganda shillings.
Yes, because by March, hopefully March 8th, fingers crossed, March 8th, 2025, we want to instill period banks. into into the schools. So we're running 2 types of donations for the first time, which because we're testing out these period banks.
Okay.
So pads, either you donate reusable or disposable pads,
Okay.
or you donate money. So period banks are like ATM for pads, where they have a metric system and the girls are able to access the pads from these community schools. We have 7 at the moment that we're looking at. And then we are able to also see how many pads are left in order for us to fill the pad banks when we're not around. We're tracking how we can do accountability so people are not taking out so many pads at a time. We're working on all of that. Tech guys who are going to offer their knowledge, they're going to offer. Guys, find a good.
We can volunteer.
Anyway. So yes, so being able to do that, so we have sustainable access to the products is one of the things that we're looking at by March in our first quarter.
Okay, so guys, I think...
But overwhelm us, 10 million, if you can do 20, just feel free, 50, that's on you.
Yeah, I think we can get it.
Yeah.
Speaking to the audience, I mean, guys, you guys are rich. Anyway, I be seeing the quality of the comments that you be putting there. Like, I was in my car and I was listening. I was like, please, you can donate. So it's for a good cause. The First Lady, as always, puts her heart and her soul into everything. You can see she's even got this cool kimono.
Yeah, and it's red because we're talking about periods.
Yeah, so she's got a lovely business.
Yeah. My book is back. Did you buy it?
Oh, wait, no.
Did you buy it from last time?
I bought from last time, but what do you mean back? It was out of...
stock, remember?
I didn't know it was out of stock.
Yeah, but this is the last batch.
Mine. It's on the job.
You give someone for Christmas.
How much is it? Do I want? I think Alan wants to buy for several individuals. Who is the person to...
Mahiri Books.
No. Who is this written for? Who is it for? You know, when I first saw Toni Morrison, I was like, man, deep stuff.
Wow, did you read it?
Of course, I haven't finished it.
Wow, other books you have finished. Mine is one that you're still reading.
No,
okay, no.
Listen, it's like you don't finish a big bottle of wine. You take it slowly.
Yeah, anyway, it is written for someone who's figuring it out. So we focus on 4 themes: feminism, friendship, sexual violence, healing from it, and choosing yourself. So those inner questions that you ask and figuring out life on the job. That's why.
Why don't you make it 4 Fs? No, it's fine. We'll do the marketing later.
Okay.
And then choosing.
That's why you're here.
Well, yeah,
That's why you're here. Do your job.
Alan and I will do. We're going to have these. You can get them from Mahiri Books. Where can people get?
You shop over Nide, see? So Instagram. Should I say the number?
Yeah.
0700906526. Yeah.
We're not getting paid, man. This is just us putting you on. Yeah. She gave me some coins.
Just don't say that's not me. And then just follow me for everything else. So Kanyomozi Rabwoni.
All right. Happy holidays. Where are you going for your holidays?
Don't even ask me. But Fort Portal.
From
the city.
The city of the beautiful.
The city Fort Portal. I'm going to be in Ibonde, having the time of my life. Yeah. Ibonde.
But you said it with... Guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next segment.